All right, welcome everyone that is joining to watch the Elite Chess Rapid Tournament. You are very welcome. So yeah, the tournament is started already. Sorry for starting the stream a bit late, but yeah, so let's catch up with what the players are doing. We are going to be following the games, and I'll be making some commentary. Okay, so in the open section, which is the main section, 5 players, one round has already been played and 4 players won. So we are waiting for the next round to start. And in the under 10 section, already there has been 2 rounds played so far. And I think the players are playing in the third round. Oh no, still playing round 2. So, okay, we see here round 2 of the under the open section. Let's quickly check some of the games, but okay, let's finish the game in the under 10, which is still happening between Chloe and Porcupine 2013. So what is happening here? The situation, count the material. So Porcupine 2013 is ahead with material. He has an extra knight and a couple of more pawns, and also he's much more ahead on the time. But okay, his king is a bit weak, so anything can happen. Definitely, it's going to be tricky for Chloe, but she still has some. Yeah, she still has some chances because the blanking is very weak. Normally, it doesn't matter how much points you have. You can have a lot of pieces, but if your king is not safe, king safety is the most important topic in chess. You need to make sure that your king is safe at all times. So this will be interesting to see how it plays out. What are some plans for white? If you can suggest, for those who are following on YouTube, welcome, thank you. Please type in the comments where you are watching this from. And yeah, what are some plans? We see already Chloe has a very vicious plan to win the game right away in one move, threatening queen to h7 checkmate. And it's actually not very clear how Porcupine can defend this. In fact, I think Chloe is winning because the only way to not lose right away. Okay, there is f5, which I somehow missed. So apologies, I got a bit too excited. But yeah, f5 is blocking the threat. Okay, there's still some problems. Of course, there is a check that can be given. There can be queen h4. So what are the plans? Is there any chances here? So queen d5 played, king g7 we should expect, and maybe after queen e6, maybe queen e6 loses to rook f6, but there is a rook hanging. Yeah, it's very difficult. Yeah, very tricky. So king g7 can be played. Okay, instead rook f7 to block, which is probably the safer option. So here, how to continue? Maybe queen e6 hitting the rook. Yeah, that's what happens. If she can get more of her pieces to come towards the opponent's king, she has a chance. But of course, one thing for the person attacking is you want to avoid exchanging your queen, especially your most attacking pieces. And by the way, just to mention this, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. It's completely free, but it also helps the channel grow. The goal is for us to reach, big mistake. The rook is falling. The goal is for us to reach 100 subscribers by the end of August. So please help us to achieve that, and also like the video so that it can get us on YouTube for people to see some of the content. People who are interested in chess will see these videos if you like them. So you'll definitely be helping a lot. So please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. So we see Chloe has managed to gain the rook. Now she has a rook for a knight, but the opponent still has a few pawns. But yeah, again, we are seeing the problems of the king safety. If your king is not safe, you can have some issues. But okay, although Chloe's queen looks a bit trapped now, she doesn't really have squares to put a queen because the knight blocking the king actually takes away this e6 square. This is a very interesting game. We'll keep following it and see how it goes. But definitely, this one is still live. There's still a lot that can happen. Let's come back to the open section and follow the action, especially on the first board. Let's see what is happening, or at least with the highest rate of play in the competition. So here we have VBKO versus Killer Kigs. We have just 10 moves played so far. It's some opening that came from, I think, the Sicilian Defense. Yeah, just normal stuff. For those who don't know, this is called the Marozzi bind. It just means that white wants to make sure that black cannot play moves like d5 or b5 very easily, and white will try to control the center. Black will play with space disadvantage for a long time, but black is going to be saying, come and hit me. I don't have that many weaknesses. So this will be a long game. Let's see the other games, what is happening. Let's refresh here. Okay, so let's look at this one, Old Crush Road versus Ruru Victory. So what is going on? Still, again, most of them are still in the opening as they've just started their round 2 game. This looks like it was a d4 opening, and it was. d4, d5, knight f6, knight c3, c6. The so-called Slav defense, very solid for black. And the fianchetto variation, which I believe was made very popular by the Chinese players. But unfortunately, for Old Crush Road, he made a mistake by moving his knight without protecting the d5 square, because now actually Ruru Victory wins a pawn, but it's still the beginning of the game. Many things can happen. Okay, let's go back to Chloe and Porcupine and see what's going on. Oh, all of a sudden it seems it's Chloe who's being attacked, and she's actually just being checkmated now. There is no way to avoid the checkmate except to block with knight f3, and after queen f3, checkmate will soon arrive. So difficult turn of events, but yeah, at least she definitely tried to fight her way back, but in the end, Porcupine wins. So now we are waiting for round number 3, I believe. Yeah, round 3 will start soon. Okay, we'll be back. Let's continue following the action in the open section. All right. So we have seen these 2 games. Let's look at the other games that's going on. between Daniel Chess ZA versus Josh Adam. So again, still in the opening stages, but it seems that Daniel has managed to win a couple of pieces already from the beginning. So let's quickly see what's happened. E4, E5, F4, the so-called King's Gambit, a very popular defense. Unfortunately, Josh Adams seems to have been surprised, and he made some mistake that cost him quite a number of pieces. So, yeah, it's not looking very good, but it's still at the beginning of the game, as we know. No opening wins, no opening loses. The opening is the first stage of the game, for those who don't know. Chess is one game, it's divided into 3 stages: the opening, mid game, and end game. So the opening is just the beginning. So even though Daniel has managed to get a good start, he still has to do the hard job of turning his advantage into a win. There is a famous saying that goes like, the most difficult position to win in chess is a winning position, because you have to manage a lot of things. You have to manage your nerves, you have to manage your excitement, and you also have to keep watch that you don't allow your opponent counterplay. So let's see how Daniel shows his technique here, if he can win the game. So let's also see the other games that's happening. So here we have Jessica Drisco versus King Bob 420. Let's see what's going on here. So far, everything is normal. It's in the opening, but it appears that Jessica is down with a piece. She has managed to lose 1 piece somehow. Okay, she finds a check, attacking the opponent's king and queen, but the opponent can take the knight, but will he see it? Let's see. Yeah, should be able to find it, but yeah, with the time running, anything can happen. So it seems these are the main games that are happening. We have seen all the games. Let's go back to the under 10. They have begun their last few rounds. Let's see what's going on in this game. Okay, the so-called Scandinavian Defense. All right, still opening stage. Nothing too exciting. The players are just getting their pieces in the game, but already this looks like a very exciting game with many moves played quite quickly. Let's see what's happening. E4, E5. The Italian defense. So both players seem to know the position. That's why they are playing their moves quite quickly, but okay. A very big decision by Porcupine 2013 to take the pawn on B4, which is defended by the pawn. So here, this actually loses material. Black gives up quite a number of material, and now there is problems. Already here, we are seeing tactics. This is called the discovered attack. If this knight moves anywhere, there will be an attack on the black king, which will be costing some material, or they just lose a rook, which is the decision. Although Samuel decides not to take the rook for some reason, now he takes the rook. Okay. Again, big advantage in the opening. Can he find a way to convert the position? We'll see. Okay, the open section games are taking on a bit more shape. The players have played some moves and the time is also ticking. Let's see what's going on here. Material is still equal, but Black managed to get that breakthrough move somehow, B5, but Black got himself into trouble. Black has managed to put their queen in the same line as the knight, but they use tactics to get out of it. They were pinned. They respond by pinning as well, but it turns out it was a mistake because the opponent finds a strong tactic of sacrificing their rook, but it's really not a sacrifice because you cannot capture here because the queen is going to be dropping. So big mistake by Killer Kings. Managed to leave. Yeah, usually you don't want to pin yourself. Avoid pinning yourself. It's not a good idea. So for those who don't know what a pin is, it's when a piece of less value is in front of a piece of higher value. So the knight was pinned to its queen. So now this knight was attacked by the pawn, as chess kids teach us. PP on the PP, put pressure on the pinned piece. The knight is pinned, so the knight is hit by a pawn. It couldn't really move to a good square because the queen was going to be left unpre, which means it would be free to capture. So Killer Kings thought he could escape with also a pin of his own, but he missed the counter blow of his opponent to sacrifice a rook. And now Killer Kings is down with a knight. But he has a pawn for the knight. But definitely, this is a favorite. White is definitely favorite with material advantage. But like in the other game, the king's position is important. This king has not yet castled, and it looks like it will take a long time before it castles. White needs 1, 2, 3 moves to keep their king safe. So please learn a lesson on this. You must always keep your king safe. Even if you have a winning position, if your king is not safe, you can somehow find yourself in a lost position. But okay, the rook just needs to move back. VBKO needs to move fast. At this point, there's nothing to think about too much. Either he moves the rook or he takes the pawn, but he needs to make a decision quickly because the time is running out. Time is also an extra piece, which is one of the big advantages that Killer Kings has. He has more time than his opponent, and his king is safer. So if his opponent doesn't move faster, he could end up throwing away his winning position. Let's follow how Daniel is doing with that big advantage he had. He has managed to convert the advantage to take he exchanged all his opponent's pieces. So this is the standard thing that you should try to aim for. When you have more pieces than your opponent, you should try to exchange pieces. Because the more pieces you exchange, the bigger your advantage is. Now we can see that Daniel has a queen and a rook extra versus a bishop and a couple of pawns. So, yeah, unless Daniel makes a mistake of giving his opponent stalemate, this game looks like it's going to be a winning game for Daniel. And also his opponent is in big time trouble. So let's see the other games. Okay, so it appears, yeah, King Bob did see that key moment when the opponent was giving a fork when you attack 2 or more targets of the opponent. This time there were pieces, the king and the queen, but he noticed that the bishop can move backwards, and afterwards managed to gain material. But also Jessica is using a lot of time, which makes it difficult. But let's see what happens. But this is a mistake now by King Bob. If you remember what I was just saying earlier on, you must avoid putting yourself in a pin. Here, Jessica had to take advantage of that bad move by playing b4 again. PP on the PP, put pressure on the pinned piece. The knight would have been lost. It couldn't move because the queen was hanging. But okay, the time pressure doesn't help, so one can miss certain things. So let us see the other games. Okay, so Old Crush Road versus Ruru Victory. It appears that in terms of the material, There are 6 pawns for white and 5 pawns for black. So Old Crushrod has not yet recovered from the pawn that he lost in the opening, and his pieces are still not finished with development. And his time trouble is coming also with a minute on the clock. Yeah, it's difficult to find a plan for him. But the best thing he can try here is maybe to take the C file and somehow put his rooks there. Try to find counterplay. So I have a question. What do you do when you are in a bad position and you have less time? How do you deal with such a situation? Type in the comments or in the chat how you would handle a situation like this. You have less material than your opponent, and you also have less time. It will be interesting to hear what you think. Okay, so let's visit the under 10. There's still one more game happening. Okay, so Samuel managed to keep his advantage. He still is quite ahead with a lot of pieces. He's ahead with a knight and a bishop and a rook. So yeah, on paper he should be winning the game, but of course nothing is written in stone in chess. Chess is an extremely complicated game, but with his time, he has a good time management. His time is a lot. He just needs to avoid making some bad mistakes, and you should be able to win the game. So we'll keep this one open and quickly shift to the open section again. Okay, so Old Crushrod managed to put this pawn in a pin. Again, it seems there's a lot of pins happening. But Ruru Victory managed to break the pin. That's the correct response. If your opponent pins you, you need to break it somehow. So he castled and the pawn is free. Okay, now he exchanges pieces. This isn't a mistake usually. If you're down with material, try not to exchange pieces, because the more pieces you exchange, your opponent gets an advantage because their advantage gets bigger. It's like in tug of war, the team that has 7 players and the other team has 5 players. They are happy to get the 5 players out. They'll end up with 2 players versus 0. Right, simple mathematics. But here his opponent doesn't take for some reason. Now is the opportunity to move the bishop out of the way, attack something. So let me just take this time to look in the chat to see if any of you are making comments. So I'll leave the screen watching, and you guys can just follow the game. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I'm back here. Yeah, thanks for those that are following the live stream. Thank you very much. It's very appreciated. Again, just to remind you, if you missed my earlier comments earlier on, please subscribe to the channel. It's for free. You can definitely do it. It's easy. It helps us to grow. Again, I'll remind us the goal is for the channel to reach 100 subscribers in August. So please help us to achieve the goal, and also like the video so other people can also see. So yeah, now it's going to be the crunch time for the open section round 2 games. Time trouble is heating up, as we can see. Old Crush Road with 9 seconds and Ruru Victory with 22 seconds right now. So yeah, it's definitely tricky, but okay. Ruru still maintains his 1 pawn advantage, but now Old Crush Road has a passed pawn, which he is going to try and push. For those who don't know what is a pass pawn, it is a pawn that does not have the opponent's pawns in front of it, or on the left or on the right, on the side next to it. So now it's starting to heat up. It seems that Old Crush Road has counterplay because of his passed pawn. But Ruru Victory must avoid trying to be passive. This is a good lesson. When you have, oh, that's a big mistake. Now it's just panic at this point. The time trouble is heating up. When you have an advantage, please don't defend. Try to be the one to attack. If you have more pieces than your opponent, you should be trying to attack your opponent instead of defending. Because here, Ruru had a big advantage from the beginning with an extra pawn, but he didn't really try to play actively. He was defending a lot. And now, unfortunately, he manages to get himself in time trouble as well, and he blunders and throws away his advantage. He also had a pass pawn, but he has not tried to push it. As the great chess master of the past, Aaron Nimzovich, said, the pass pawn must be pushed. And the closer it... I don't know if he's the one who said it, but I know he said a lot of things about the pass pawn, especially that the pass pawn is like a criminal. It must be kept under lock and key. Small measures like surveillance are not enough. You need to make sure that you stop your opponent's pass pawns. But for them to be stopped, they must be pushed. And yeah, now this is definitely difficult. Old Crush Road seems to have managed to escape from that position he had. And he is the one here this time with a chance to win the game because of his extra bishop. And he's now ahead on the clock, actually. Although I must remind us, these guys cannot really lose on time. So long as they make moves, they should gain more time. Because every time they move, they are getting extra 5 seconds on the clock. So they can't really run out of time. They'll be able to improve their time situation, but they just need to find the moves a bit quicker. So it will be interesting to see how this one ends, but let's check out if there are other games still happening. There is one more other game that is happening between Killer Kigs and VBKO. Killer Kigs is still down a piece, but his opponent is in big time trouble. And now he manages to gain back an extra pawn. It is still very difficult. Very, very tricky business. The time pressure can help Black to find some counterplay. But okay, now Black loses too many of his pawns. This position should be losing now because White is just going to be creating a pass pawn on the king side by, okay, h5 is a good move as well. f4, f5 was also good. This is an exciting one. Let's see how it goes. So here, already Black is he's in huge trouble. If he takes on h5 by capturing with his pawn, then the White king is going to take. So he decided not to do that. So this now allows VBKO to come up with another plan of pushing the pawn. I'm not sure why he's playing here, because he just allows his opponent's pass pawn to move forward. He has a simple plan. Just play f4 and... okay. All right, he has another idea. He's threatening now to play rook b7 check to exchange rooks. It's an important lesson for everyone to master. Every time your opponent moves, you want to pay attention to their last move and find out what do they want to do. So Killer Kings has done that. He saw the opponent's intention to come down. He still does it anyways. Yeah. I think this rook, although it's very active, there is a rule in the end games which tell us that rook belong on the 7th rank. But here, the rook has to stay in front of that pawn. The closer the pawn comes to the queening square, the more dangerous it becomes. And I think VBKO is just not finding really the KO that he needs to win this position. Although white is winning, but he still needs to come up with a way out to win. Because it is not enough to have a winning advantage, you also need to find the winning plan. So I think his winning plan now is correct. He's okay, no, he doesn't come up with the correct plan. He had to bring his king in. This is an important lesson in endgames, guys. You must bring your king into an active position if you want to win in an endgame. Although he is doing it, he has another plan, which is maybe to get his king all the way here to just win this pawn. But the problem with that plan is that this pawn on f4 is always going to be weak. So, yeah. Now he definitely has big trouble. How does he organize his pieces? He's struggling to find the right way. But okay, it's also down to the fact that he allowed himself to be down with too much time. But this is another good plan to blockade the pawn from moving forward with the bishop to make sure his rook is free. So I think this plan is quite good. At least now he will have... and now he's able to move his king forward if he wants to. But the time pressure is really serious. Okay, he still wants to go for that pawn with his king. But he's allowing his opponent an easy move, rook a4, asking questions about this pawn. Because it must be noted that the endgame, if these pawns are exchanged, the endgame is actually going to be a draw. A rook and a bishop versus a rook can be a draw. Although I think it is a draw. Although white has some winning chances, the game should end in a draw if black defends correctly. But of course, with white's time trouble situation, it remains to be seen what will happen. But white just needs to come up with a plan. In the endgame, unlike in the other parts of chess, you cannot play the endgame if you don't have a plan. And at this moment, he hasn't had a plan for a while. He's just shuffling pieces. So his plan should be, he needs to keep this king here and bring his rook to b4. Stop this rook from harassing his king. He just needs to find this plan so that his king is able to come in. But unfortunately, he's not finding this plan. I think it is the time trouble. He's just making moves now. But at least this is a better version. Now at least the rook can go to c4. He really wants to bring his king this side. So that's his main plan. He's been trying to do that for a while. But now at least he can bring his rook maybe. Okay, even that one is quite nice as well. So rook c4 is the other way. So at least now he finally gets his pieces in the right order. He has to get his rook to guard this pawn. Now his king can come after this pawn, and with this, he should be able to win the game. But he has to play quick, of course, because of the time pressure. And now he has a simple threat to play rook a4 and pick up the a3 pawn, and then he definitely has a winning position. But it remains to be seen if he's able to use his time well. Again, I'll remind us, the guys are getting extra 5 seconds every time they move. Yeah. So Killer Kings came up with the right plan. VBKO's plan wasn't correct. He should not have allowed his opponent's king to come up. Now, for those who understand end games, this game is going to end in a draw, and that's why VBKO is letting his time run out. Make a move. Oh, he realizes he cannot win the game anymore. It is just a draw. The game cannot be won anymore because a bishop and a king cannot checkmate. So the game is a draw. Okay, great fight back by Killer Kings, although VBKO won't be happy with himself because he definitely had a winning position. So going into the round 3 in the open section, Old Crush Road leads the tournament with 2 out of 2, and Killer Kings is number 2 with 1.5. And VBKO has 1.5. And another player on 1.5 is Mj Lutado. So yeah, they still, the fight for first place, at least for the first 5 places, is still on because the top 5 players are going to win a group coaching prize. And yeah, they'll be learning how to choose the right opening. And of course, watching their games, a lot of them for sure needs to learn how to choose the right opening for their playing style. So let's see how the... Ooh. Interesting. King Bob managed to lose the game there. He was winning completely. It might have been time trouble. Very interesting. Whilst we wait for the next round, let's just see how he ended up losing the game. He was ahead on the clock. He had more pieces than his opponent, and he somehow managed to lose the game. Yeah, okay. Some big mistakes were played, and yeah, checkmate. Chess is not easy, guys. Chess is a very complicated sport. There is nothing guaranteed in chess. In the under 10 section, I think the tournament should be finished now because they are already playing in round 4. Or they've already finished round 4. It seems the other player might have been having network challenges. They've been finding it very difficult to play the entire time. They've been losing a lot of their games on time. And this one also seems to be a loss on time. And I think with that, the tournament should be finished. Or they'll have a next round. Oh, okay. So there'll be one more round here. The under 10s will be finishing their tournament after this round. But I think all of them have played each other. There were not that many players who entered this time. So this tournament should be finished because I think all the players here have played each other. So we'll just wait for the server on Leeches to update that because they've played 4 games at least on paper. Some of them got buys. So the game should be the tournament should be finished. So this then will be, well, the top 5 were the only 5 players that could play because unfortunately for PSN IVS, he has had what seems like connection problems. He's been losing all of his games on time or most of them on time. Okay, so let's go back to the open section. They are now playing their round 3, which has just started. So let's follow the tournament leader, Old Crush Road versus VBKO, who won't be happy with his last game when he was just winning against the highest rated player in the tournament, and unfortunately was not able to find the right plan. But this is encouragement. If there's any young chess players watching, you must study the end games. If you want to become a strong chess player, you need to work on your chess end games. Yeah, there is no other way because the end game is really where the 2 areas of the game of chess where you can really start to play competitively and maybe even start being a very strong player. If you can master the middle game and the end game, you become a very strong player. And I'm not saying this for VBKO. This is general advice. I'm saying it for everyone. This is something that is especially young players, but even older chess players. Spend time working on your middle game and end games because these are the 2 parts of the game where games are really won. I was listening to a video by the world chess champion Magnus Carlsen the other day. On his channel, he has a 1-minute video of him discussing, or about 1 minute, discussing the openings he chooses. So he admitted something that many people used to say about him many years ago, that Magnus doesn't work on his openings. He doesn't really try to find exciting ideas. But of course, he admits he has changed that now in the last years. But back then, he used to focus only on middle game and end game. And it helped him to become the #1 player in the world, because chess games are really decided by your knowledge in the middle game and the end game. And of course, this can be improved. This is an area all of us have the opportunity to work on and improve. Let's just confirm if the under 10 section is finished, because I believe everyone has played everyone. Yes, indeed. So congratulations to the winner of the under 10 section, Samuel Drisco. You won the tournament 4 out of 4. And number 3, it was Porcupine 2013, followed by Chloe Hanacom. And the other 2 players who also qualify for the prize coaching for top 5, it is Alet and Vimy. Okay, so well done to all the participants. Let me just type in chat. Well done, everyone. Okay, congrats to Samuel for winning the tournament. Okay. So this one is finished. All right, so now we'll focus the rest of the stream on the open section. So we are. Oh, okay. I was surprised. I thought the VBKO had lost his queen, but the knight can capture back. So this is the tournament leader playing against VBKO, who's only trailing him with half a point. They are still in the beginning of the game. It will be a long game. It's a balanced position. Let's see what the other games. Okay, so let's see the game between Killer Kigs. Okay, many moves played, 17 moves. Let's see here. So D4, D5, the Queen's Gambit. Not the television series now, but the chess opening. The chess opening, the Queen's Gambit, came first before the television show on Netflix. For those who might not know that. So, okay, just normal developing moves. Right, but Black is violating already some principles in the opening. Black played Bishop G5, which is okay already. It's maybe not a natural move, but it was fine. And Black has a misplaced knight. Now, normally when you are learning about the principles of the opening in chess, you are told that you should try not to move the same piece more than once, because this just puts your pieces. Well, for one, it delays development. You don't castle, and as well, your pieces here now. These pieces are misplaced. Now, Killer Kigs is already in the middle game because the rooks are connected. Or as I like to say, when your rooks are connected, you know you have reached the second stage of the game, which is the middle game. And the first and most important thing to do in the middle game is to look for a target to attack in your opponent's territory. And Killer Kigs finds that by going with Knight B5, hitting at the weak square C7. This is already a deadly move that is difficult to defend. Already here, the opponent, if they don't want to lose material, need to play C6 maybe, but that would lose material. So that doesn't work. So it seems that White is definitely going to win something. Because if you move your rook here to defend this pawn, it's attacked 2 times, but it's defended once by the Black Queen. So the only way to add the defender would be to play rook to C8. But after rook C8 now comes knight A7. So here White is already winning material. These moves were not the best moves by... So a couple of moves have been played. So what I was discussing. So Killer Kigs already has a has a pawn to his advantage, and his opponent gives away a rook. It's just a terrible situation. And now Killer Kings is going for the attack. He's showing the right attitude. When you have extra material, so here Killer Kings has an extra rook. He's not just defending passively and trying to hold on to everything, but what is he trying to do instead? He is trying to attack his opponent because you have more attacking pieces, right? Already to attack properly in chess, you must always attack with more pieces. So if you even have extra material, imagine how that will do, how that will help your attack. And now there's just a killer way to win the game. I mean, now knight takes to g6, pawn takes, queen check. Is just losing right on the spot. But he'll just double check it to make sure he's not missing anything. But here, this position is busy winning. So I'm going to take a short break. I'll keep the screen on and you can follow the game. I'll be back shortly. Sorry, apparently my mic wasn't working properly. Apologies for that. I hope everyone can hear me. Please type in the chat if you can hear me now. Sorry about that. I did not know that the what is this? The mic wasn't working. I think I must have bumped into the speaker or something. Sorry. So basically, what I was just saying is that what Killer Kicks has done shows good understanding of positional chess. If you want to attack in chess, you must attack with all of your pieces. Okay, great. Thank you. It seems the mic is working now again. So if you want to attack properly, you need to attack with all of your pieces. As I was saying earlier on, Grandmaster Yasser once said, when you attack, you want to invite everyone to the party. Bring all of your pieces and you want to use them in the attack. So now he has 5 pieces attacking the Black King. So it's only a matter of moment before he finds a breakthrough. I still believe playing knight takes here should be winning. Maybe now, since we are not following the under 10, we can close this tab and open an analysis board to just quickly see the line. But this is winning. So knight takes here should just be winning. Because if you take here, there is already just, you gain back the material, so to say. Okay, maybe not now. The knight can come back. But then there's a check. There's an escape for the king, maybe. Oh, wait, what am I talking about? I'm thinking it's a pawn on f2. It's a rook. Yeah, so of course the move is working. Apologies for that. So queen g6 check is just winning. You must play king here. Queen here, and then after queen takes, maybe better actually. Ooh, very nice. Can be even this, but do you really need to do it? Maybe not really. Just take the knight, and white continues to attack, and white remains being with an extra rook, and make it very easy. So let's go back to the game. But he has decided not to go for the sacrifice. He decided to move backwards. But generally, going back is a mistake. If you have no good reason to move your pieces backwards, try to make moves that go forward. Moves that go forward are usually the best moves, especially when you are attacking. So, of course, he's still winning. He still has an extra rook, but it will be now a longer game than if maybe he would have taken the bold decision to sacrifice. But nevertheless, let's follow the other games and see also what is going on. So let's see here. The player in the lead of the tournament, Old Crush Rod, what is he doing? So for me, the thing that stands out is this bishop. This bishop is not happy with life right now because it doesn't have that many squares to move. There's a funny saying in chess that goes like, help your pieces so that they can help you. So at this moment, this bishop is not feeling very happy because it cannot even move anywhere. The pawns are blocking the bishop. This is by definition what we call in chess a bad bishop. When there is a pawn in the center of the same color as the squares your bishop moves, it's a bad bishop, and even worse when most of the pawns are on the same color. So he basically is playing, even though he's not a piece down, he's basically a piece down because this bishop cannot do absolutely anything. So this is not a good sign. But okay, what is Black able to do about this? Can Black take advantage of this? I suppose Black is going to win this pawn. Yeah. One of the main problems here for Old Crush Rod is the bad position of his pieces. But okay, at least he finds a nice move to hit the opponent's rook. The rook must move because it's attacked by the pawn. The rook will go somewhere. Then he wants to play b4. Okay. So definitely still not game over. At least he found the main problem in his position. He evaluated correctly. He made the right judgment. And also, I must say again, he's managing his time very well. VBKO has to improve with his time management. You cannot afford to be low on the clock if you want to try to play to win every game. Because if you have less time than your opponent, you won't be able to solve all the problems in a short space of time. So, yeah, it's a bit of a challenge that, but let's see what goes on. Because the rook must move. There's no need for him to think so long. He only has an option. Either he will take this pawn, which he'll probably do, or he moves away. But there's no need for him to take so much time on one move. It's unnecessary. Playing with less time is, he doesn't find the move. Maybe there was something we are missing. What would have happened if he takes the pawn? Type in the chat if you see why he didn't take on e4. Please help me to calculate. But now, yeah, suddenly White's problems are solved. The bishop is now feeling happy about life. It has a long diagonal, and all of a sudden this knight cannot really take here anymore because these doubled rooks will be hitting on f7 plus the bishop, and it will end up even winning a knight. Now, all of a sudden, things have changed. But the knight here is misplaced. The knight on the edge is grim. The knight is hit. What do you do? After every move by the opponent, always ask what does the opponent want to do. And then bishop to b3, the only move to not lose the knight. So it is a bit surprising that the player thinks so long. In general, avoid thinking when you don't have to think. Just make the decision that is obvious. Okay, now he just decides to lose a pawn for some strange reason. Bishop b3 was defending the knight, so I don't understand what that choice was. Although he is looking at tactics, that he's hitting this knight. So maybe he has a point. But okay, knight takes e4, rook f7. King goes to h8. The knight is going to win all these pawns. I don't know. It looks a bit chaotic. And now it allows his opponent counterplay. Because here, his opponent has a very dangerous pass pawn. And his rook is on the right square. The rook is behind the pass pawn. The pawn will be able to move forward. And in general, when your opponent is in big time trouble, try not to overcomplicate the position. Because the more complications you make for your opponent, the easier the game becomes for them. Because they just need to look for attacking moves. So they end up going into the same position anyways, which was the idea earlier on. But this position is what the player in time trouble likes, because the position is complicated. So they just have to look for checks, captures, and threats. So they'll keep finding moves. When your opponent is time trouble, avoid complicating the position or making the position a mess. Just try to play simple moves that improves your position and limits your opponent's possibilities. And let them worry about their time pressure. Because believe me, the person in time trouble feels the pressure that their time is low. So why help them by creating unnecessary complications? Because now you have to also think, because when there are complications, you must also think about what you need to do to solve those complications. And now we see old Grashroad is using his time. And now the person in time trouble can sit in your time analyzing what they are doing, what they are going to do. So it's a double-edged sword when you play. I say this from experience because I always do the same thing myself. But I read a book called by Grandmaster Jonathan Ems. You can find the book on Amazon or anywhere they sell good books. But the book is called The Survival Guide to Competitive Chess. It's a very nice book for those people that are struggling with playing competitive chess, because there's a lot of pressure that comes in when you're playing. It's not easy playing chess. As I've said earlier on, maybe if there is a key takeaway from all this stream, chess is a complicated game. It's tough. So one of the things he has there is in one of the subsections, he speaks about the issue of time management. And this is where I learned what I'm saying about not overcomplicating the position when your opponent is time trouble. Just make the position simple and let the opponent worry about the time pressure. because now it's really dangerous somehow. It's very dangerous. There is even issues of the king's position, because there was a knight check, and don't make this horrible mistake of playing king h1. There would have been checkmate, but the opponent didn't see this one. He makes what I believe is not a good move. Now, okay, he wants to protect his pawn with rook a1. But okay, now white, at least his king is not very troubled, because white can just gobble up these pawns. With bishop d7, take this pawn. Very, very interesting game. Okay, so once again, I'll take time to market our YouTube channel. Please, if you have not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. It is very much appreciated. And as well, please like the video so that the video can be shared with other people who are interested in chess. And yeah, if you find any of the things that I'm saying interesting, and for example, if you are not currently getting any chess coaching and you want to learn some of the things I've been saying, we have an amazing team of chess coaches here at Elite Chess Academy. Please send a message to our WhatsApp number that is everywhere on the internet. You can just search on Google Elite Chess. You'll see us right on the first page of Google. Send a message to the number, or send an email, or visit us on the Facebook page and send a message, or send an email. Yeah, we would like to hear from you if you're interested in getting chess coaching by professional chess players and very experienced chess coaches. Okay, so back to the chess content. So the position is still very dangerous, as we can see. Black has a simple plan now. Black wants to take the pawn on c3 and play a2 and move his rook anywhere on the first rank, and he's going to make a queen. So for those who are not following what I'm saying, let's go to a display board so we can see what I'm saying. So black's plan is this. If white makes, let's just say, some strange move. Let's make a bad move for white. This is the plan. Black wants to play knight takes c3. And let's make again another bad move. Black wants to play pawn a2, and let's make another bad move. The opponent would ideally want to move their piece to e2. Now there's a big problem. You might say, aha, now I'm going to win this pawn, but are you? If you take it, the game is lost after rook to e2. Hitting. This is again a typical tactic called the double attack or the fork. This wins material. So it's not looking good for old Crash Rod. And now he is also caught up in time trouble. I hope people will learn, at least from watching this as an example. Avoid making complications when your opponent has little time, because you are only helping the person who has little time to find tricks. And now we are noticing that, or at this point, white is trying not to lose the game. Will it be possible? Let's see. Yeah, now this looks like it's game over because of the move I said, rook e1. Let's see if VBKO can find it. It's a KO move. Okay, even that rook c1 is still working. The position is lost. Rook c2 check. After rook a2, the game is over. Oh, and he gives away a rook. He just resigns. Well, very tough. Very, very tough for old Crash Rod, but chess is complicated stuff. As I have been saying throughout this live stream. Okay, he gives away the pawn, but I mean, at this point, he gives away his knight, but he's winning. He has an extra rook, and he has a pass pawn. He can even be annoying and sacrifice his rook. Yeah, this is bad. Let's see if there's other games. This one should end as a win for VBKO. Okay, it's the only game that's happening. So let's see it until the end. But yeah, it should be resigned very soon. Although, if VBKO is not careful, old Crush Rod was threatening to make a queen. So he prepares to play rook to e1 to stop that pawn from queening. Passed pawns need to be stopped. You can't just watch them from afar. Try to stop your opponent from queening when you have the possibility. So, okay. Now rook e1 stops the pawn from queening, and yeah, it's GG's. Good game. All right, rook e7. He makes a queen. It just resigns. And there's another queen coming. And now, because these guys are getting 5 seconds every time they move, there's no longer any worry of time trouble. The moves are very simple now. It's a basic ladder checkmate that we'll see very soon. Yeah, this is, of course, there's still the outside chance that old Crush Rod can get stalemated when your opponent has taken away all your flight squares, but your king is safe. And now we see the ladder checkmate. It's going to be checkmate in 2 more moves. And there we have it, checkmate. Okay, so we are going to take 2 minutes before the next round as the players just take time to refresh. Of course, the advantage of playing on online is at least you can quickly go to the kitchen and get water or something, or eat something quickly and come back. So yeah, whilst the players are taking a few minutes to come back, I'll also take a break here at this side. All right, so just less than 10 seconds to go to the 4th round of play. So we have a tie for first place, VBKO versus Killer Kings. But they have already played each other, so they won't have to play each other twice. So let's see. Old Crush Road takes on the tournament leader in Killer Kings, or the co-tournament leader. We see a Sicilian defense once again from Killer Kings, his favorite defense, with the black pieces against e4. Let's see how the other games are also starting. So here we see the Scandinavian defense. The funny thing is that Daniel Chess ZA is a big fan of the Scandinavian, and his opponent is playing the Scandinavian against him. So this is quite interesting. Yeah, okay, so this is basically the idea of this opening is that black is going to try to counter attack from the first move already. But of course, there are some issues with the Scandinavian defense that you bring out your queen out very early, which is normally not advised in chess. If you bring out your queen too early, you are going to be creating an obvious target, so your queen can be attacked. So after c6, bishop d2, already there's problems. If this knight moves anywhere, your queen will be attacked. So bishop moves g4. Daniel showing some very strong preparation against his favorite opening. So he of course knows that when this bishop comes out, this is a normal idea to harass the bishop and go right away and try to attack it. So Daniel is showing some clear understanding of what he needs to do. So very exciting game this. We'll keep an eye out on this round. So let us look at the other games and what is going on there. So let's quickly see VBKO versus Ruru Victory. Let's see what opening has been chosen here. E4, E6, the French defense, the advanced variation of the French defense. So here, VBKO is going to be sacrificing a pawn to say that he's going to have an attack. So let's see if this is true. Because already bishop e3 is a mistake because of knight f3 check. And then the opponent will just win a pawn on b2. So it's either he went into this willingly or he made a mistake. So let's see which one it is. If he knows what he's doing, he knows he has to take here. After the queen takes, he has to play rook e1. So, okay, he seems to know the ideas. Queen e2, also similar with rook e1. And now he's going to harass black's queen for coming out too early. And black's king can castle on the queen side, but of course the presence of the open file makes the king feel a little bit unsafe. So black would ideally want to castle on the king side, but what is the issue with that? These two pieces are still blocking the king and the rook. So interesting game, this one. White gives up a pawn for getting dynamic play. So let's see what the other games, what is happening in the other games. Someone is not moving in this game.
Voice chat is ready.
Hi, Viper S. You need to make a move. Your time is running. Okay, so let's see if the person will be reminded to move because their time is moving. Okay, so the other game we haven't looked at is Josh Adam versus Jessica Drisco. E4, E5, bishop C4. So the Italian defense again. It's a very popular opening. This it's been played a lot. Ooh. Opponent sacrifices material somehow. Will it work? Let us see. Let us see. Okay, so what I would say, because of the opening choice, this is the most interesting game so far. So we'll follow it as the main game of this round. The other games we'll go back to them. So why is this such an interesting opening? Well, because, or at least a position, White has decided to give up a pawn just like that, but he's planning to use his fast development as compensation. So normally, if you sacrifice, that means willingly give up material, you need to have a good reason for doing this. And usually the reason for giving up a pawn in the opening is mainly to bring development, which is to bring your pieces into the game very quickly. So let's see if White can justify the pawn sacrifice. It's always fascinating watching a game where the opponent is down with material. So I'm just going to quickly make coffee whilst the games are heating up. Okay, bishop d2 cannot be correct. You don't give away a pawn and you try to exchange material. So this is not a good move. At least bishop e3, right? So yeah, anyways, enjoy this game. I'll be back after a short break to take coffee. And yeah, please keep following the video and also share with people that you think will find what I'm saying interesting. Thank you. All right, welcome back to the channel. We are back on the live stream. I just taken a quick break to go make coffee. It is quite cold today, and also the games were still heating up. Let's see what has been the development. Okay, so as I was saying about the game earlier on, so VBKO made a bold decision to sacrifice a pawn in the opening, but doesn't seem to have handled his opening very well because he tried to exchange pieces. And generally, when you are down with material, you should try to avoid exchanging pieces. White, for giving up a pawn, had to prove that he's going to gain some advantage. So there he seems to have found a way, but this cannot be correct, surely. What he's hoping for is that he wants to take and check, but this is definitely not correct because the king can even move to g6. Let's see if his opponent doesn't panic, but this is, oh, that's bad defending. Just take the bishop. A lot of young players do this actually. They just panic when they see an opponent make a move that looks dangerous, but they don't really work it out if it's really dangerous. Just take the bishop. Take the bishop, let's see it together. It was completely nothing. It was a bluff from the opponent, and unfortunately, Black believed it. Just take the bishop. There's no way he loses. He can just go here and even play king g6. The fact that Black's queen is so active means White has no attack whatsoever. The queen cannot really, just this check is nothing. The knight can just be captured for free. At the very worst, Black will at least have White will at least have a perpetual check. Not even that, because if you give check, then queen g4. The game is just lost. And there's nothing else to do here after this move. Exchanging rooks will make no sense. Taking here, and trying to bring, yeah, it's just bad. There's even mate. But yeah, something to learn from. When your opponent sacrifices material, unless you can see that you will be checkmated in the next move or the next two moves, or they win a whole bunch of material if you take it, take it. There's a funny saying in chess that goes like, take first, think later. Take the material, only think afterwards, because a piece is a piece. Yeah, so now, okay, VBKO has managed to gain the pawn back. It's now equal material, and the Black's king is a little bit weaker than it was before, and VBKO now has real threats. Sorry, he plans to play knight to g5 followed by queen to h5 with checkmate coming. So let's see how Ruru Victor will come up, what he'll come up with, and let's see if there's other games still happening. Okay, so let's see quickly. So this one, Killer Kicks is up with a pawn. It's an end game. It's a rook end game. Now, I mentioned earlier on in the live stream that you should try to work on your end games, especially. But you might be asking, Dion, you want me to work on end games, but what kind of end games should I work on? Well, the ones that happen the most common are usually the best ones to start with. So you can start with pawn end games and rook end games. Pawn end games and rook end games happen more than any other chess end game. So start with those ones at least, because they happen a lot. You almost always have them every single game. So this is a rook ending. So let's see if we have some endgame experts in the chat. Please take time to write in the chat, what are you supposed to be doing in a rook endgame? What are the main principles in the rook ending? Please tell me what you think. I would like to hear your opinion, and let's discuss. I'll say nothing about that. I'll just leave the question and I'll wait if someone types in the chat. I have my phone here looking down to see if anyone will say something in the chat. If not, I'll say nothing. You can go and find that out yourself, because you must, if you want to become a strong player, you need to find out things for yourself. You need to learn. Self-educating is important in chess. So let's see if Self-education, I mean, is important. You need to know these things. So let's see this game. Daniel has managed to harass his opponent's king into the middle of the chessboard. It looks very bad. But okay, nothing is ever as bad as it seems from the from the get-go. But okay, Daniel is up with 3 pawns. He's up with 3 pawns on the king side. And they are even passed pawns on top of that. So this looks very bad for Mj Lutado. He can't move his knight on b8 because it is pinned. It is pinned to his rook. Yeah. Okay, so Daniel is completely winning. Let's see if he's able to win. Okay, no one seems to have written anything in the chat yet about the question on how to play in rook endings. I'll keep looking out in case. You can just write what you think. Don't have to come up with the correct answer, but please avoid looking up the answers. Just write what you think or what you know. Okay, so this one should finish in victory for white. So let's see what the other games. What other games are still happening? Daniel says he's solving a Rubik's Cube in between rounds. He's not eating anything in the kitchen. Okay. All right. So we haven't followed this game in a while. Let's see what's happening. So 5 pawns for black and 5 pawns for white. But we see a big problem in the position. White is down with a rook. The opponent is carrying an extra rook. So Jessica is ahead here, and she's the favorite to win. But of course, nothing is set in chess. As I have been saying the whole time, chess is complicated stuff. But Jessica's time situation is very good as well. So if she doesn't make any big mistakes, she should be able to win this game. So Nathan in the chat said, can I look at the Scandinavian game? It looks interesting. Yeah, that's the game with Daniel, right? So we quickly looked at it earlier on, and I explained a bit of what Daniel was doing at the beginning, and we left it since. And now the end game, Daniel is up with a piece and an extra pawn. It looks like it's a winning position, especially the fact that his opponent's king is very vulnerable as well. And Daniel is just pushing his pawn, marching down the board. Yeah, it looks like Daniel is busy winning. And his time is also not too bad. 2 minutes is enough time for him to be able to win. Okay, so his opponent plays rook f8, trying to win the pawn. There is a few ways to deal with this. He can play bishop g5 check. The king must go somewhere, and then he plays f6. Okay, rook g5 is another one, but it's not the best move. That was a blunder by Daniel, actually, because he loses the pawn anyways. Bishop g5 was the best move. So this is also another thing. This is a typical mistake that players are not very aware of. Playing instantly is a mistake. If you play instantly, even in a position you think you are winning, it's a mistake. There was a very simple move that he just said to find here. He has enough time to see it. Bishop g5 check is simply winning. The king cannot go anywhere on the g file because of the discovered attack. In fact, this move was just winning right away. Oh, it's a pity. He would have won on the spot. If the king goes here or here, these are the only safe squares. He still goes here and wins material. So Yeah, he missed a winning moment there. So okay, Nathan in the chat, we looked at the game. It is still winning, of course, but now it will be a little bit more difficult because he has to try and win some of these pawns. And the time issue, he has to watch it. But of course, he still remains the favorite because of the piece. Okay, so yeah, Jessica is just busy winning up with so many pieces. And Old Crush Rod looks to be lost in 2 moves. Yeah, that will be a checkmate. Usually, the stronger you become, you should start avoiding getting checkmated. If you see really that your opponent is going to checkmate you on the next move, and there's absolutely nothing you can do to stop it, don't get yourself checkmated. Just resign. Why should you allow the opponent to smile that they checkmated you? Okay, so yeah, let's quickly look at this key moment. I mean, this was the key moment in the game with a VBKO and Ruru victory when the opponent made a very strange decision to take on 8-7. He was just supposed to take, so I looked at the line with you guys earlier on. Apparently, the machine says that, okay, no, when you don't take, of course, just take the piece, yeah. It's just completely lost. I think this is the move he missed. He only, in his calculation, he probably only looked at King G8 and saw that he's checkmated. But this is when you think passively. Always look for the best defense is attack. King G6 was just winning on the spot. And unfortunately, Ruru lost this game. But it happens. This is also the important thing. A lot of these tournaments for us are also aimed at improving young players. That's why they are youth tournaments, so that these kinds of mistakes can be addressed and hopefully learned from. And if on the next one, to try and play better, because that is the goal. The goal is that it's not so much about winning and losing. That's not really the goal. The goal is becoming a better chess player. You need to try to come up with the reason of why you are losing, and try to fix it, and try to avoid doing that in the next game. That's how you can become a stronger chess player. So there seems to be 2 more games happening. Okay, Jessica is completely winning. The opponent is not resigned somehow, and they have less time, but they are hoping to be stalemated. That's the only way, at least, Black can escape here. Sorry, White can escape, because there is no way here for White to win anymore. And it will be checkmate on the next move after the king goes here. Okay, the king at least stopped the queen from coming here. So Jessica has to be very careful, because if she doesn't play the right move, she can just stalemate her opponent. Let's wait to see if she finds the right move. Any move that doesn't stalemate is correct. Like even pushing the pawn will be correct, because it will force the king to move to d5, and after that, queen b5. So maybe g5 or f5, any move, or even moving the king. This forces the king. This is what is called in chess a zugzwang, which is a forced losing position. But even this is also winning. Queen d6 is checkmate. So yeah, Black is winning here. Oh, even that is also winning. So good game by Jessica. So there's only 1 more game happening. It's Daniel versus Mj Lutado. Okay. Yeah, Daniel is unfortunately making mistakes now. He had a very good opportunity. Okay, he can take on a4 and still win the game, but now his position is very, very tricky now. Yeah, the time. Okay, the allowing there is probably not good. Better was to keep the bishop, because now it's much more likely the game ends as a draw than as a loss. Although Daniel wants to play king b5 to trap the knight. Let's see. It can work if you can find it. There's a nice plan here to play king b5, and the black knight will be trapped, sort of. He doesn't see it. He comes with king c4. But yeah, king b5 was the best move. It would have been winning the game. So black... okay, so white has offered a draw. Black declines the draw. So clearly black feels that white's time pressure can lead him to make a mistake. In fact, he just missed a rook there. There was a huge mistake. Now he plays it, but it's a bit late. Yeah, as I was saying earlier on, the most difficult position to win in chess is a winning position. There is a lot of feelings involved when you are winning, because you can end up, and there's a trap here from the opponent, but now who has trapped who? Suddenly, black has lost a knight. So Daniel just has to find the right move not to lose it exactly, and Daniel is winning again. In fact, Daniel could have just won a rook for free. He is... okay, now he is winning. Okay, by being ahead with material, but this position is a theoretical draw. He can't really win anymore. He had to take the rook on d3. Yeah, very tough game for Daniel. It will be very difficult to take, because he was completely winning this game. And now, if he just wants to take his draw, he can play rook to b3 just to take a draw, because unless his opponent blunders the rook away, the game would be ending as a... so Daniel will try to win, which is good. Huge mistake. No, he had rook h3. Why did he play automatically? The opponent made a huge blunder. After rook here, he was just supposed to give check and win a rook for free, which would have won the game. Yeah, this is not good. Yeah, well, it's getting exciting now. Okay. Oh, that's a huge mistake. Almost. There is knight check. The knight there saves the day. Okay, at least he finally has his opponent on the edge of the board. But he can't really make... he can't make too much of it. He has to bring his knight back to d4. The knight comes back here. Okay, also that is fine. This is even better. At least he has his opponent's king on the edge of the board. Now king to c4 can be played. He has nothing better, and now he brings his knight here, and he is threatening checkmate. So his opponent gets out of the way. Yeah. Of course, these guys can decide to keep us here probably for the next 30 minutes, because they keep getting extra time on the clock. So there is no real way for any of them to lose now. So it is a draw, at least it must be, unless someone loses on time. Yeah, I think just to repeat the position. It's already a 90 move game. It's been very long. Is there a way for white to win? No, not really. It's not very clear how the opponent can force his opponent to make a blunder. Yeah, he must just watch it that he doesn't lose on time. Then you're trying to force some checkmate that's not there. Because his time is getting very low. And there is not really a way. Of course, I didn't say this. For those, maybe this will encourage you to study endgames a bit more. This is already known by now. Everyone who studies endgames knows that this position is a draw. There is no way for white to win. Even though white has an extra piece, the game is just a draw. Unfortunately for white, his extra 3 points won't help him to win this game. With the bishop, it's a little bit more tricky. Okay, but now there's a check. Knight c4 check, king b5. Okay, so Daniel is probably deciding whether he should just take the draw or try one more time with knight c4, yeah? Why not? Okay, but now he just has many checks. Because his opponent won't move away from his rook. So knight check, king b5 is the only move not to lose the game. And now the knight can give check again. Yeah, it can still continue. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Okay, even king there is better. Yeah, okay, so they agree to a draw. Okay, so we have 2 minutes before the next round. We'll take a short break and be back when the last round starts to decide who is winning the tournament. So the last round has 2 players still fighting for first place. VBKO versus Killer Kigs. Who is going to win the tournament? Daniel, with that win, he could have made, if he had won that game, which he should have won, given how he had a huge advantage. But unfortunately, it's things you have to learn from. So he has to now try to settle at least for finishing in the top 5, which is still not easy because Jessica and Ruru Victory are still coming up hot. So yeah, exciting stuff. See you in the next 2 minutes or so. All right. So we are in the last round of the tournament. This is the finale, and it's some exciting games on the books. So here we are looking at Daniel versus VBKO. So VBKO has the opportunity to win the tournament if he wins this game. And Daniel, of course, with a win or a draw, he secures the top 5 finish to win the top 5 group lesson prize. That's on the stake. So he doesn't shy from his romantic and exciting chess. The romantic chess style is more aggressive chess, going for the king and trying to play with active attacking chess. So Daniel, despite that bad game that he threw away a winning advantage, he picks himself up and goes right into his king's gambit. So it shows good character on his side. He didn't change his stuff after the game didn't go well. He keeps on in the same way. So that's definitely a good sign and very important quality. Don't change the way you play just because it doesn't go well in the previous round. Stay true to who you are as a player. So Killer Kiggs, also another player who can win the tournament. At this point, he has a lot of pieces already somehow. He has won his opponent's queen and rook. King Bob, it seems very difficult. I mean, it is a difficult pairing in general. The gap is very big between the two players. But yeah, learning experience for King Bob playing the top player in the tournament. So it seems that with this, unless Killer Kiggs make big mistakes, he should be securing his at least tying for first place if his opponent also wins. But we might have the opportunity to see a smothered checkmate. No? Yeah, there is even just a checkmate in one move. Knight f7 checkmate. Okay, so well done to Killer Kiggs for finishing with 4.5 out of 5, only 1 draw and 4 wins. So it is up to, this looks like a fiery game. Daniel is going all out. I mean, this is definitely good for advertising attacking chess. So this is exciting. We'll stick with this game, but let's quickly maybe let's quickly look at the other ones and then we'll come back. But this will be the main game that we'll spend some time on. Let's see with Old Crush Road versus Mj Lutado. So at the moment they just came out of the opening, although Mj Lutado still needs to finish development by castling. The material is the same, but there is a pawn here on b2 which can be attacked by the black pieces, and black has a lot of space on the queen side. So it will be an interesting struggle. White will try to play in the center. Daniel is on fire in the other game. He seems to just knock his opponent out with straight attacking chess. Yeah, this is interesting. He's just winning now, it seems, at least a couple of pawns. Because now, oh wow, he wins a rook. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. So it's not looking good for VBKO, even though he's trying to fight for first place. He meets an opponent in Daniel who's fuming after his last game that he drew when he was completely winning, and he doesn't hold back, goes all out to attack his opponent. But let's see how he handles the pressure this time. You again have an advantage out of the opening, huge advantage, completely winning. Let's see you'll be able to convert it and win this time. Very interesting. But for nothing else, this is good for advertising attacking chess. He's playing some interesting games. Okay, Jessica won her game already, it seems. She won very quickly. So Jessica, with that win, finishes with 3 out of 5. let's quickly see how that game went. So we don't need the computer yet. Let's see. Okay, so the opponent lost a few pieces. Quite a number of pieces, and then it was checkmate in the end. Okay, very nice win by Jessica. With that win, she secures, at least it looks for now, she will secure a top 3 finish, although there are still many players on 2 points that are still playing right now. So yeah, let's look at Ruru victory versus Josh Adam. Okay, very solid start. A lot of exchanges. Yeah, and it seems Ruru victory wants to go for checkmate. He's preparing to bring his rook here. Although it would have made sense to castle and just bring the rook there, but okay. Let's see what his plan, because this at least allows his opponent some counterplay. Because normally if you want to attack on the queen side, you need to make sure, to attack on the wing, either on the king side of the chessboard or on the queen side, you need to make sure that you have a center that is blocked. But his king is a bit weak, so this will be an interesting game. Let's see. What other game have we not looked at yet? So we have looked at all the games now. Let's go back to this explosive and exciting game of Daniel versus VBKO. Daniel managed to win a rook, and he seems to just be all right. So I'm back again. Sorry to quickly go away. All right, so let's continue. Daniel remains with an advantage. He has now a rook for a knight and a couple of pawns. So definitely he still has an advantage, but he has to find a way to win the position, of course. All right, but now after he gets his bishop to g5, he has a huge advantage here. Okay, he tries to force his opponent to trade the knight, because that knight is a very powerful knight. So if he can get rid of that knight, that will definitely be a good thing, because now the knight has no way to escape. If the knight takes and the rook takes, then he has a winning position. Okay, so let's keep following closely to see how the game goes. Let's see if there's any other games happening. Okay, the opponent finds a counterplay there. We'll be back. So there's still 2 more games going on as well. Ruru Victory versus Josh Adam. Okay, the material seems equal still, but of course, Josh Adams' king is being attacked, and his opponent is threatening to win the pawn on d4, which he seems he will just win after queen takes d4 check. Queen d5, sorry, the pawn on d5. Queen takes d5 check. Queen takes d5, rook g5, rook g6. It looks like it will go to some endgame. So this will still be a long game. Let's look at the other game that's going on, which is Old Crush Road versus Mj Lutado. Okay, so Mj Lutado looks to be attacking Old Crush Road's king, and Old Crush Road has huge time pressure. He already has 2 minutes left and some seconds, whilst his opponent is on 8 minutes. It looks very dangerous. Let's see if he can survive this. But Daniel's game has been the most exciting one, so let's go back to that one. And Daniel seems to be playing flawless here. He seems to be showing good technique, much better than the last game. He has managed to trade a lot of the pieces and now has an endgame that he is completely winning. Not only does he have a rook for a bishop, but he also has extra pawns. So this will be a very good example to see if he understood the way he should play when he has an advantage. Because he got a huge advantage out of the opening by just winning a whole bunch of pieces. And now he has a winning endgame. So let's see. We'll be watching closely. Let's see if you have an idea or some plans that you can suggest for Daniel. How would you play this endgame? What would you say is the right way to go? So type in the chat if you have some suggestions or if you have some ideas on how to continue here. Yeah, okay. It seems that Daniel's plan is correct. He's putting his pawns on the opposite color as the bishop. This is the one problem of the bishop. The bishop, of course, moves in dark squares or brown squares, as we see from this board. So if you put your pawns on the wrong color as the bishop, okay, it's just lost. There's even checkmate now. So Daniel wins this game. Very good game by Daniel. Very, very good game. He just has to see the checkmate that is forced there. Rook h6 is checkmate on the board. And Daniel wins the game. And VBKO doesn't tie for first place because he needed to win this game to finish tied For me, it is a bit strange what Daniel is thinking about, because there's just a checkmate in one move on h6. Okay, that is very strange. What is that? Okay, I hope he's not trying to be fancy now and try to make his opponent... yeah, it seems he will let his opponent... Okay, he doesn't do that at least. To let his opponent queen and then give him checkmate. Or he wants his opponent to resign. I don't know, because the game is just over now. He can just checkmate his opponent on h6. There we go, and he does it. All right, big game by Daniel, very big game, and really a well-played game. This time, he showed great technique. He won a huge advantage, and he made sure to use it properly. So let's see now. Maybe the game with Old Crash Road is interesting, since he's in very serious time trouble. He has 13 seconds left, whilst his opponent has 7 minutes on the clock. But in terms of material, it's the same points. They both have a knight and a bishop, but there he loses a pawn. So his opponent now has an extra pawn. Yeah, the time trouble is telling. There is huge time pressure. Okay, he attacks the opponent's pawn on b2. Let's see how his opponent responds now. Okay, the opponent somehow decides to give up the pawn on b2. Not sure what is the reason for that, but he doesn't take it. Okay, so it seems the opponent just made some huge mistakes now. There was a check, at least. What's going on? So there's a simple winning move here with d6, d7, which wins the game. Okay, this looks like he'll be time out, but also, yeah, on the board things are not looking very good. Yeah, his opponent can even take, but allows the rook to the king to come out. Okay, timeout, but it was also bad on the board as well. So there must be only one game happening, which is Josh Adam versus Ruru Victory. Let's watch that as we finish the exciting 5th Elite Chess Youth Rapid Challenges. Yeah, if you have not played in this tournament and you are born 2002 or later, please keep an eye out. We plan to have these kinds of tournaments every end of the month, usually the last Sunday of the month, but of course the day can change. But yeah, we'd like to have you to join the tournament and to participate and play with other young players. The only way to develop chess is to get the young players involved in chess, to get them to play and to work on their chess as well. Hence, some of the commentary here, it could sound very strong, some of the things I'm saying, but it is a challenge all of you young players for you to work on your chess, because there is no shortcut. If you want to become a strong chess player, you need to work on your chess. You need to learn from your mistakes, and also you need to get coaching, right? So I cannot say it enough. You need to improve, and one of the ways to improve in chess is to get coaching if you want to go to the next level. So please, you can contact us if you are interested in getting chess coaching. Visit our website, elitechess.co.za. Find us on Google. Just search Elite Chess. Find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram, and as well find us on YouTube. Please like, subscribe to the channel as well, and share the video with anyone you think will find it useful. It's very much appreciated. And with this draw by mutual agreement, Josh Adam and Rural Victory have agreed to a draw. We come to the end of the 5th edition of the Elite Chess Youth Challenges. And let's quickly see the final standings. Killer Kiggs won the chess tournament today with 4.5 out of 5. Didn't lose a single game, only drew 1 game, which was a great save by him because his opponent was supposed to win. And then in 2nd and 3rd place is VBKO, and Daniel Chess is also tied for 2nd place. And Mj Lutado comes number 4, and Jessica Drisco comes number 3. And this is the tournament. Thank you, everyone. Great tournament. And congrats to Killer Kiggs. Thank you, everyone. All right. Thank you for following the live stream. I hope that you have learned something, you have enjoyed it. And yeah, for those that will be watching the videos, especially the players from the tournament, if I made some comments about your games that you were not very happy about, or you have questions about them, please follow up with me. We can just discuss. Again, all of it is done with attitude or with a motivation to challenge you guys to become better chess players, to work on your chess, and yes, to keep improving. So with all of that said, thank you so much. This is Dion Gradema from Elite Chess signing out. And as always, keep chessing. Bye-bye.